Today we're talking about pricing for content creators. We're talking to Ishmael Beg. Ishmael is a digital marketer, consultant, and entrepreneur. He's the author of the Pricing Strategy Playbook, which launches in March 2023. So Ishmael, it is an absolute pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you so much. I'm a bit nervous, but it's been long overdue.
Yeah, because we know each other for quite a while.
Yeah.
Through my work that I was doing on Facebook, we got in touch with each other. You sent me, I remember you sent me a recording of Redwall Use It Better Than Blues.
Yes, it was really pandemic, yes.
And, since then we have stayed in touch, talking along the lines of content creation.
Yeah.
I am at the stage in my YouTube journey where I think in 2022, I started paying more attention to pricing, working with sponsors. And I realized at that point in time that there was so little to nothing that I knew about pricing. And talking to other content creators, I think is something that they struggle with as well. So before we get started on the different strategies and pricing, or I should say the pricing strategies that content creators should use, tell me a little bit about yourself, your work in social media, and what you're good at.
Yeah, so I really appreciate you having me. As I said, it's long overdue. So my journey has been really big ride. I was actually in the printing industry for 8 years. So I mainly through that got all my marketing, branding, pricing, dealing with a lot of customers and clients. After that, I said, here's what I started to specialize marketing and branding in the food industry. So I sort of niched down a little bit. And through that, I really would help a lot of businesses. It put me in a position where I started to do a lot of consulting. People would want to know where to get supplies, how to price the products, how to price the services. It was basically everything a lot of persons needed for the business, because the inflation started to rise. People with the good jobs and everything, they needed to start a business. And that's where I decided to become a digital marketer. And really, digital started to become so prominent. Right? Content creators started to discover TikTok, and a business would have never been on TikTok. As a matter of fact, TikTok right now is so good for organic traffic for businesses. It's completely amazing. So I came at this point where, I needed to convert my knowledge on everything. And I decided to use the platform of putting all my knowledge into a course. Right? So recently, within the past 2 years, I would say, I created something called the Import Bootcamp, in which I teach businesses how to import and market their products, etc. And to go with that, as we're here today, my wealth of knowledge with regards to pricing strategies. And I created the Pricing Strategy Playbook. It's actually a complete bundle. And I realize within the industry of content creators specifically, they have a lot of trouble in pricing, because what happens to a content creator is this. We all went through it. You start off as fun, entertainment, but then you just see, okay, all right, I gained 10,000 followers in 2 months on TikTok, because TikTok really changed the game, because, the YouTube algorithm to get 10,000 subscribers back in the day was very hard. Right? Facebook, you would have a little growth, etc. But TikTok really opened the market for content creators to come on board. And then you would have so much content creators see, okay, I have 10,000 followers. Then somebody message me, we want you to do a little promotion or shout out. And because they have no idea what to do, give me a little 300, give me 500, I'll make the video for you. Or I'll come and just taste your food. I'll come and do this, whatever. Which is, there's no blame on the content creator. They don't know. They lack the knowledge with regards to pricing, So that's where I really designed the book, because one of the things I do is I try to take my experiences where I failed and make sure you, the entrepreneur, the content creator, you don't have to go through it. And this is where, in the past couple of months, I've been so successful as a digital marketer, because I've just given a ton of value, shared a ton of, resources with regards to helping content creators around that part.
Yeah, and you're doing fantastic work with your TikTok page. So what I will do for the listener is in the show notes, I will include the links to the playbook that you have, your TikTok pages, and any other websites that you would like to point us towards.
Most definitely.
To get started on this idea of pricing, and this question is from a YouTuber named Reaping What You Sow, who we have had on the show already. He asked, is there a level of skill or experience required before you approach sponsors?
Not necessarily, right? Remember, from a business perspective, when companies are looking to do sponsorships or deals or brand deals with you, the main thing they look at is reach, because they themselves as business owners, the culture is, oh, he got 10,000 views. Oh, he got 20,000 views. So he has viewership, right? Business owners, they want to know that when they advertise with you, that or they do a brand deal with you, it's your reach. Where the skill and where the skill comes in as you as a content creator is how well you brand yourself, how well your personality is in talking about the product. Right? Because at the end of the day, content creators, we have the power over all companies in this digital era we're in right now. We have the power. We have the power of our marketing manager. We have the power now because at the end of the day, it's not what you say about your product, it's what the people say about the product. Proof of that is Amazon. When we go on Amazon.com, what's the first thing we do? Doesn't matter if it's a big brand. Right? Even if a big brand has 0 reviews on the listing, the likelihood of you buying is very, very low. We all go to the reviews because we look at what the customers are saying about the product, because this is what validates the brand. And content creators help companies make a better purchasing decision. Right? And that is the power we have. So the prerequisites really to when approaching a brand deal is, I've seen people got brand deals at 5,000 followers or even 2,000 followers because they realize a lot of companies, they're realizing now, here's what, we don't really need that big viewership. We just see somebody with good personality and we want like a brand ambassador. Because for a company, it's cheaper to outsource a brand ambassador like that and pay based on project, as opposed to hiring somebody in-house into the company. A lot of companies now need a face. So there isn't any really prerequisites. What I would say is really understanding to treat your social media following and what you do like a business. And this is the number one thing content creators fail to do. They do not know. There's no degree. There's no course. There's nothing to show you how to be, a content creator. We could go and do a marketing degree. We could go and do a mechanic, whatever the case may be. But there's no course for us to show us how to be a content creator. And it's something we had to figure out as we go along.
And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes I have made looking back at my experience is, you start creating content, as you said, for fun. You're going along the way and you're enjoying it. You're happy to reach people. You're happy to get feedback. But then there comes that time where you realize, hey, people paying attention to the work that I'm doing. How can I, grow this in a positive way to invest in myself as a business? Now, I may be jumping the gun here a little bit, but I'm thinking about content creators who they've recognized that this is a business that they're doing. Treat it as a business. I could turn around some money. And then they have their, but let's say it's a comedy content creator. So they're posting their comedy, and then along the way they find a sponsor and they post a sponsored video, but that particular video doesn't do well. You know what? I jump in the gun, but let's remember to come back to that point of how does, when you post a video, how does the impact of it affect your future pricing? Because maybe the sponsor could look and say, hey, your comedy videos, they're getting 30,000, 40,000 views. But then you do a video for me and it only hit 500 views. So we'll remember for us to come back to that point,
most
right?
Definitely.
So a little bit curious about what are some common mistakes that content creators make when pricing their services, and how can they be avoided?
First chapter in my book that I deal with is do not drop your price. Whatever you do, don't drop your price. A lot of, especially the business culture in the Caribbean, is to try and gauge for cheap, right? The first mindset you need to have is treat it like a business, right? And the first thing you need to do, and I have this outlined in my book in each chapter where I discuss about how to price for brand deals. You need to have a media kit. You need to look professional. One of the mistakes you guys, a lot of content creators make is you don't come off professional, right? You content creators come off like, I'm not hitting on the fellas at the side of the road. I mean, as a hustle, but you can't treat it like give me 500 and I'll make the video for you and post it. No, these are corporate companies you are dealing with, right? If you come off professionally and stand firm with what you do, say, this is the price, right? And you start off with drafting a media kit. So a business first and a media kit, right? And the media kit will have you constantly updating your followers, a price for a video, a price for a photo, a price for a TikTok, all of these sorts of things. So now when you stick firm to your price and you say, okay, put in packages, 5 TikToks, it'll be X amount, 6 TikToks, it'll be X amount. You have it to use. So anybody, it's very easy. Hey, Lyndon, I want to do a promotion and I want to do...
In studio right now, we have this fly that is just terrorizing us.
And I beat today.
Yeah. There's something... Right? But on this idea of the media kit, sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay.
And I apologize about that fly. We'll deal with them just now.
Yeah.
On this idea of the media kit, you have spoken to me about this so long ago. I have been creating content for 5 years or more years, and I have not put a media kit together, whether it's on my website, whether it is on my YouTube videos. So really and truly, this media kit is so important from the point of view that someone knows this is how I would engage your services. These are the prices that you have. This is
Policies,
the parts of the offering.
Everything.
And it is something that I definitely need to do, and I want to take it as inspiration. And do you have what will be great is to get a sense of what kind of templates or the elements of a media kit. If you could just run through some of that quickly for us.
Yeah. So in the book, I sort of give an overview on how to structure a media kit, right? So it's literally just about 4 pages you're going to have. And the first page you're going to have on the media kit, you could just pull up a Canva presentation template. The first page is going to be your cover photo, right? With a very nice picture of you and your genre or niche of content you create. The second page is just going to be a little bit about you, what you do, the type of content. Underneath what you do, the third page is going to be your analytics of YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, your potential reach and everything, right? Your fourth page is going to be, under the analytics, you're going to put companies you've worked with. So just ask the companies for the logo just to use in your media kit. So people will see some social proof of companies you've worked with. And the last page is going to be all of the pricing, right? So mainly what I recommend for all content creators is to do packages and value-based pricing. Pricing, you have to price for everyone, right? Price for the small man and price for corporate, right? So if you want, I just want one TikTok done, it's going to be, and let's say you have a following of 10,000 followers, right? This is actual strategies I've done for other content creators. Let's say you have 10K followers or even 5,000 followers and somebody wants to do a TikTok with you, it's going to be minimum $500, right? And that's minimum without purchasing anything additional. So for example, I like to use food content creators, right? aside from making the video, filming or whatever, they have to buy ingredients. They have to prep. They have to use their time. They might have to go to. So all of those things you have to take into consideration.
We'll get to that point in a bit, because that's one of the questions that I have. Just to touch on this media kit a little bit more. I love what you've presented here, and I look forward to reading the book and the additional content that you have in terms of these individual sections. I'll just play it back for the listener one more time in terms of what your media kit could include. It could include a cover photo, an About You page,
right?
Your analytics in terms of your reach on the different social media platforms,
and
your portfolio, the companies that you have worked with, and then your prices. And you see that you could have your prices sectioned for the small business or the corporate clients that you work with.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. And I really look forward to reading some more of that. And as I say, we'll come back to that idea of the additional cost that you may have to absorb as the content creator, because a lot of times I have priced videos for different companies. And $500 TT off the top of my head, it sounds fantastic. I just do that. But then when you go to film, you're using your equipment, you're flying your drone. Yes, these may not be things that working on fuel, but there's your time, and then there's I guess time is the biggest aspect of it to really try and figure out, how do I price my time? And do I do that on a per hour basis, a per job basis?
So before the chapter with the brand deals, I think it's like the third or fourth chapter, I actually show you how to calculate the cost of goods for product and services. And calculating your cost for a service that you provide, whether it's making a video or whatever. It's not only about, let me give you an example. Food is one of the best examples. So it's not only the cost of goods to purchase to make the food, but you have to factor in your electricity, your operational cost, how much your customer acquisition cost is to get a customer inside, your transportation. Like I was speaking to a landscape person, and he's like, yeah, charge a $300 to come and cut your yard. Yeah, anywhere. But you live in from till up in Grandy, and you going and cut a man till in Penal for $300, that's real gas. You don't take into consideration things like transportation, your time to get there. Things like, you might say, okay, you stop on the way and you buy something to drink. Anything you do along the way on that job is a cost. Right? So you have to take into those things into consideration, and price high.
Now, you have the situation here where there's reluctance on the company's part. A lot of the companies, I should say this, the companies that I have approached, I've been fortunate to do business with each one of them, where I set my price at the $500 TT, or I set my price at 2,500 TT, or 4,000 TT was like the highest price that I ever approached a sponsor with. I spent some time having to justify the pricing and showing them the value of it. And I realized it was a very helpful discussion and experience for me from the point of view of, one, it showed me that I have to be able to kind of justify, and the justification goes beyond views. It goes beyond saying it's 10,000 views per video, because we were highlighting that situation just now where you may have a history of doing well, but then when you come with this very tailored, sponsored piece of content, it doesn't do as well. So then you're thinking about, what I want to ask is, are there additional factors beyond, this is the size of my viewership, this is the views that I attract per average on the videos? What are some other how do you justify your value as a content creator beyond views, likes, subscribers? Are there other factors we'll give consideration to?
Yes. The first thing is you have to build your personal brand. People don't buy the videos. People don't buy what you say. They buy into you, because you are the expert in your industry, even if you're an entertainer, right? So to solve what you just said, let's use this as a case study right now. So somebody, 10,000 followers, they do comedy videos, they do let's say they do non-niched video. I call them general influencers, right? They can put their face behind any product, get a little views, get paid, and that's it. The just a side note with regards to that, that's actually bad because they're being a general content creator. There's not much room for growth beyond the shores of the Caribbean, I would say, if you're a Caribbean content creator, right? It's a little difficult. But to solve that, let's say 10,000 views, 10,000 followers, you bust any other video and you clock in between 20, let's say 50 to 100,000 views, right? Or 20, minimum 20,000 views. But a company hire you, right? And you make the video for them and you get like 2,000, 5,000 views, right? And then it creates a problem as to why is that? A couple of things could be going wrong here. One, you have to understand the culture of your following. Yeah, I like you as a funny man. I don't want to see you selling anything. And then the second problem to that could be the creativity behind the content creator when they're doing the product. So they need to know that they have to make sure that they fuse whatever product or service into the creativity and style that they have. A great, you had him on the podcast. It was Stefan. Stefan is right. Stefan, right?
Yeah, Stefan Feldman.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So as you can see, he can take anything, put it into his persona, and it will sell. Because that's what I'm paying for. I'm not paying for you to just say, yeah, I'm doing it like this, whatever. I want it to use your personality because that's the personality your followers understand. So that's the second thing. So the first thing is to make sure and understand the culture of your audience, right? That's key.
You know, I was trying to wiggle away from this idea of target audience and price.
Yeah.
I honestly was trying to wiggle away from it and not even incorporate it into this conversation. But it's come up and let's talk about it a little bit now, right? You as the content creator, when you're pricing your content, you have to have a sense of what your target audience is looking for, what their expectations are from you, what you are bringing to the table for them. And does that mean that before we even get to the pricing aspect, which we've been talking about, that you then have to consider, hey, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't work with a particular sponsor because they don't align. But then I want to add a little piece of detail to that. We operating in a very small space in the Caribbean here. We may not have a lot of companies who are hip to the idea of paying content creators. So whatever comes along, you're kind of in a position where you're happy for the opportunity as the content creator and you grab hold of it. So is it that we have to have, as content creators, a level of maturity to say, you know what? This content creator, this company is going to be very hard for me to align and get good results for them. And even though this is a $5,000 deal, it's best I walk away from it because there's no alignment. What's your take on that?
Yes, that is very, very key. And I remember we having this discussion. I remember when you called me and we were discussing something to the effect of it. You have to do your homework. You can't just be, so as we would say, yes, strip it over the money. You have to have a standard and identity for yourself. Right? And you tell a real damn good story when when a business approaches you that, okay, there's no alignment, but I need to tell about the story that this ad is going to tell. Exactly. And you have to do your homework. You have to know simple things. You have to know simple things as just based on conversation, right? Think of it as you're going into a relationship. Are there any red flags? Oh, we want it done like this. There's one of my good friends, Trini Cooking with Natasha. We talk a lot of strategy with content creation and stuff like that. And I remember, she and a couple others have heard stories of major companies in Trinidad months to confirm one piece of video because The company sends you this particular script and they make you film over that because you didn't say this properly and we want these. There are companies in Trinidad and Tobago. The marketing teams are very good. They send you an entire, detailed script. I've actually dealt with one company and they were really, really good. They actually make the work easy for you because we want you to introduce the video like this. We want you to do this. We want you to do that. Say these set of words, etc. And then there's these same companies can become a nightmare because it becomes a problem when you have to film over and film over and film over. Right?
And that is your time going there.
Exactly. So to solve the alignment, here's what you do. Your media kit solves it. Your media kit sets the precedence of, here's what. I will price myself high if y'all want. The main thing is you have to price yourself high and price yourself low. But you offer options in sort of a ladder pricing, right? Or ladder pricing or something called a compromise effect. The compromise effect is where you introduce 3 options from low, middle, and high. And it gives the consumer and the customer a perspective of which they should choose. The companies that do this very well, Starbucks does this very well. Apple does this very well, right? So when you go into Starbucks, you see 3 options. The tall, grande, and venti. I'm mixing it up. But anyway, when you realize, you see it, one is priced at $27, but then you see the middle one is $32, so it's just a couple dollars more. And then you see the bigger one is priced a little higher, way out of range. The reason for that is that when you look at the larger one, the middle option becomes the one that you buy because you don't need something big. And this is where you have to incorporate into your media kit. So the company emails you. So it comes like this. They email you, hey, we want to work with you, right? Remember, we don't know what type of company we're dealing with, if we align with them or not, right? They look at the media kit. They say, okay, small, medium, high. We want to go with the high package. So that gives you a signal 1. These people, they're willing to pay a lot. So if they're willing to pay a lot, then you jump on a phone call with them. And the key to asking, you don't just ask a girl to marry you. You have to ask the questions. And that's the number one thing in sales. Big shout out to Jared, Bess Mitchell, and Lyndon Bratwitt. I follow them a lot for sales. And this is one of the main things they have taught me. And their free content is amazing. And when you're on a call, ask questions. So what type of company, when was last y'all do a marketing campaign? How was it? They'll tell you all these things. Well, this person, they didn't really do a good job. And, ask questions. By asking questions, you get an understanding of where they are in terms of marketing as a company. And based on that now, you'll be able to have enough information to say, okay, yeah, I could work with them.
So what I'm hearing from you is that as a content creator, it isn't just about producing the video. It is about forming a relationship, a business relationship with your sponsors, learning more from them, strengthening the alignment between the 2 parties. And maybe not just, the transaction doesn't end when you just post a video.
No.
It goes beyond that and interaction.
Yes. Not only that, I tell everyone, it doesn't matter what product or service you're selling. The way in which you get sales, build brand, get paid for what you're worth is the experience you give to the customer. What experience you give to the customer. That's it. That's branding, right? And I use this analogy when I was speaking to some students in UAE last month. I explained this to them. I said branding is kind of like your house. You have the colors, the walls, the rooms, the features, right, of who you are. But what will you remember when I invite you into my house? Hey, Lyndon, you want some coffee? You want something to eat? Relax yourself. Anything you need, you sit down. You make me feel at home. The experience. So now when I leave your business, when I leave your transaction, I must have a good memory of it. I must have a good experience. And that is what make customers come back. That is what differentiate you from all others, even if others have higher followings than you. Companies will say, here's what, yeah, but we had a better experience. Better we pay this guy, do 5 videos, better experience, no set of headache, and yeah.
So let's talk actual figures now, right? And we're talking these figures in TT dollars for simplicity.
Right.
A content creator just getting started on YouTube. He has 0 videos. He has 0 subscribers, but he knows that he is in a particular niche. He is doing, let's say, art.
Right.
And he is going to be talking about the art scene. I have a particular content creator in mind, which is Khalil. He has a YouTube page, Khalil Studio, and I will put the link in the show notes. So Khalil comes about. He has this channel. He knows what he's focusing on. He's talking to artists, the art scene in Trinidad and Tobago. And because he's thinking about it as a business, immediately he says, hey, I could go and I could talk to Nigel Arkan. I could talk to the art shops that I have, maybe Charon's. They have art supplies that they sell. What is his figure for his first sponsored video if he is going to talk to one of these companies? What he could approach them with and the vision and set a price. I don't want no dancing around. He has a vision for his page. It is niche down. Yeah. He has a clear vision. What is the figure he could put on the table to tell them, this is a business and I want to work with you?
Right. So this is 0 followers.
That is correct. 0 followers.
0 videos.
0 videos, but a clear vision for where he will be.
Right. So anybody with 0 followers on any platform and 0 videos, within the first, I would say 3 months, they cannot charge for anything. They have to start off doing something called Goodwill content, right? Unless you get like it's very rare, but you get some sort of like, I like to call them angel investors who they don't look at the money and you don't have anything, but they see a talented fella, which is very rare to happen, right? But you have to do at least 3 months of Goodwill content because you have to come and give something, present something. It's very difficult to just come to you and say, hey, I am very talented. Maybe if he has his physical work, that might be something like a portfolio of artwork he has done or whatever. But a strategy you can do if you have 0 following is this the strategy you could do. 3 years ago, right before the pandemic. I'll give there's a perfect example. Yeah, that actually happened to me. I had 0 following. I was a social media manager, but I wasn't like really in front of people. And there was this individual, he didn't want to pay me. Right? He's like, nah, too expensive and you didn't really have following and none of those things. I had the clear vision. He liked everything. He just wasn't willing to pay. So here's what I would do if I had 0 followers and 0 videos. If I was him, I would approach the Nigel or whichever company, right? And I'll say, here's what. I'll do the videos for you free, right? And over time, if the video crosses a certain threshold or a certain amount, you agree to pay me X amount. Right? This is a strategy you could use for when people don't want to pay or they don't really see a value. So you position yourself where the business has nothing to lose because they're getting it free, but they're tied to a specific situation in which, okay, if it crosses a certain amount, for every 10,000 views, they get, I don't know, like a $200 or, however much amount. But it's for somebody with 0 followers and 0 videos, it's very hard to convince a business. They would have to do 3 months of Goodwill content. And it's very easy. You just have to, and it's good to do the Goodwill content because that 3 months will shoot you up so high.
And that is a fantastic idea that you have presented there. This idea of, do the content, talk to the person, says that if it crosses particular thresholds, then,
Because just one thing I want to touch on, and it's simple, just approach a business. Hey, I will review your product for you for free, right? All I want for you is at the end of when I create a video, you as a business person, just leave me a review. Because one, you get a free video, you leverage somebody's brand, right? And then you basically get a testimonial. So let's say you do 5 to 10 videos like that, and you choose, 5 to 10 persons within your niche to do that. That's just 5 to 10 videos. You could do that on a month.
Okay, so the same content creator, whether they're on YouTube or TikTok, so let's say after 1 month, they've grown to maybe 1,000 followers on TikTok or 100 subscribers on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
They stick into the niche, they're creating that type of content, they return to the company. What's the offer that they could put on the table?
For a monetized sort of branding?
Yeah. I want to do monetized content for you.
Yeah. So you have to really know how to talk and do sales. You have to again, it comes back to asking questions. Really understanding, hey, I really love your brand. Like show your appreciation. We got to get it big on just now.
Yeah, this is fly that's terrorizing my guest. I'm so embarrassed.
No. We will kill this fly before the end of this podcast. No. Right? Yeah. So sit down, go back, sit down with them. Say, listen, as a matter of fact, you know what doesn't hurt? Just be honest. Hey, Lyndon, I know I don't have a following, but I'm very, very passionate about your brand and about everything. What sort of compensation that we could exchange, that we could come to an agreement where I produce a fair amount of videos or content for you, in which we'll be able to basically, I get monetized for what I do, and you get the viewership, and I grow with you as a company. Because you have to show them this isn't. I'm not here for a one-off. I'm here for the long run because I want to build with you.
In terms of increasing your value as a content creator, and I'm thinking here particularly about video content creators who are focusing wholly and solely on video content creation, maybe on a particular platform, because that's where they've started off, that's where they're doing well. Is it important, or I should say rather, how does having different forms of content, whether it comes in the form of blog post, a podcast like what we might be doing here, are these things that increase your value as a content creator and your price? So in other words, let me tie it into a question. We know each other, and you've been following my content creation journey. I follow yours. So give me a sense. On YouTube, I have close to 10,000 subscribers. My average video may rack up about 5,000 views. I have this podcast going on. With all these assets in place, I have presences on Facebook, I have presence on TikTok, I do blogging, I have my website, potbake.com. In terms of if I find a sponsor that suddenly aligns with what I do, my brand identity that you've mentioned earlier on, what is the minimum price? Or how do I take all these things into consideration that when any sponsor comes up to me, that I could say, hey, the least I'm willing to work on a project for is $2,000 TT or $500 TT. How do these different aspects of content creation inform how you could price your services?
Right. So in the chapter where I discuss how to calculate the cost of goods, right? When you go and you sit down with each point that I've gone through, you have to write down, okay, let's say no sponsors on board, right? And let's say you have to ask yourself a question. Let's say I was to make, you have to start with different averages. So let's say I was to just make a TikTok alone, right? You have to ask yourself, how long would you take to produce a TikTok? So understand your time and everything. And let's say, here's what I do. Let's say if your response to that is, I could do that for 400, it's 800. You 2 times X your price. Whatever is the first price, double it. You have to start high. If you start low, because remember, companies will negotiate you down a lot. So you have to start high. And I show you how I think the formula I put is 1.7 to 2.3x, whatever figure you come up with.
I'm so happy that they bring me back to that point of the media kit pricing your services, different aspects with regard to time, because I realize what I'm so guilty of sitting down here speaking to you. I am so guilty of just a random figure enter in my head because I think this is what my value is based on the reach that I have, but it is way beyond that.
It is way beyond that.
Yeah, because if I sit down, I have sat down editing videos and sometimes it goes into the 10 hour because you feel a certain level of accountability to the company that, hey, this is a sponsored video. I'm going and put a little more in it.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Because you might do a first take on a video and do everything what the company asks, but then you watch it back and be like, it don't have enough of me in it. It don't have enough of my style with it. And you have to go and film over. I don't want to say that's not your fault, but I mean, that's your creativity, right? So minimum in Trinidad and Tobago, a content creator should who's now starting off anywhere between 500 to 1,000, right? Let's say for a TikTok video. Anything under the 3-minute mark, because I outlined all of these specifications in the book. Anything under a 3-minute mark, 500 to 1,000. But it could even go more than that because of the complexity of the deal. You have to keep, so I say keep adding increments of $500. So if you say, okay, transport and food alone for me for that day, and it's 2 days, add on an extra 500, right? Because you'll have people who, it's terrible culture I've seen in Trinidad with regards to when we price ourselves so high. Oh, you're charging too much. You're digging out people eye, but this one charging so cheaper for this, etc. You have to stick firmly to what you are, your identity.
All right. So I want to remind the listener. Sorry, I interrupted you. What you were going to add to that?
I was just going to finish with the point with this. I read this in one of the psychology books I was reading, right? And it was saying, if you give the people what they want, they will lose respect for you. But if you go against what they want, they wouldn't like you, but they'll have respect for you. Right? So by holding firm to your price and say, this is my brand, this is my value, I know who I am. This is me. Because from time you step across into the realm of just doing it for the money and say, hey, you know what? There'll be a headache, but I go do it. You lose all sense of direction, all sense of creativity, everything you lose.
So I finally understand why my wife likes me but doesn't respect me. No, but this is a fantastic conversation, and I really wanted to urge the listener to go down into the show notes and check out the different links to Ishmael's social media pages. He's doing fantastic work on TikTok. You'll find the links in the description as well to his book. I have learned a lot of fantastic things today in terms of sticking to your price, considering the time that goes into your work, the software that you may be using. Maybe you're purchasing music. Don't pull a random value out of your head. Pulling a random value out of your head could cost you. And in the excitement to find a sponsor, I mean, you could make some stupid decisions along the way, but you shouldn't continue making stupid decisions.
Yeah.
You really have to be informed and treat this as a business. So
and just one thing I wanted to add in, even if you don't know what price to charge as a small content creator, kind of call around, kind of ask. Position yourself as a customer or have one of your friends or family call a content creator. Hey, I want somebody who's done it in the industry and who's higher. Say, hey, I want to do a quick video with this, that, the other, and they will hit you back a price. And from that, you'll get a gauge at a higher price point. So if they're charging $5,000 and you see they have 50,000 followers and they get a minimum of 50,000 views, and you're at 10K, you could kind of say, okay, all right, I could probably do a 1,500. You know?
I'm so happy you bring up that point there because you brought up that point because it impresses on me the role that content creators play in supporting each other. And these are things that, traditionally we may be secretive about. Yeah. But when you really think about how you could grow the industry by working together, look at this conversation that we're having. Yeah. You've opened my eyes to a lot. And through the work that we're doing on this podcast, hopefully we'll be opening the eyes of other content creators as to how to approach it as a business. So in closing, is there anything that I haven't asked you about pricing that you would like to cover? Or you think we've done it all?
We've covered a good bit. I just wanna tell all the content creators, Ian, you are very talented. You are very creative. Don't devalue yourself. Don't bring yourself lower because, I haven't seen a paycheck for like that so big, right? Do your Goodwill content in the beginning. From day one, 0 followers, do your media kit, right? Because it shows a sense of professionalism, a sense of, okay, this guy, he really knows what he's about because he's treating this as a business. A good guy who does this, who came up on the scene, he was a YouTuber back in the day. I think he still produces Kivo TV, right? I really used to follow him, and he treats his brand and everything like a business. He actually has a manager and all these sorts of things, and that was the only things we were talking about the other day. Is just like, there's a sense of professionalism when you have a manager, and limiting access to you as a content creator makes it like, this guy hard to get on to, but be professional about it, treat it as a business, price yourself high so you can negotiate down, and hold firm to what your prices are.
All right, Ishmael. Thank you very much, folks. Remember to check out the show notes for the links to the different pages. And a key takeaway for me today, is this idea of the media kit and the elements of it: the cover photo, the About You page, your analytics, your portfolio, and your prices. So thanks so much for coming in, sir.
Thank you very, 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 very much. I really appreciate it.